Hey folks, it is Thursday, December 16th. The time right now is 1:35 p.m. and the temperature is around 14 degrees Celsius. And I am here in midtown Toronto. And there's a look towards Yonge and Chaplin. Well, Chaplin on this side of the intersection, and to the east of Yonge there is Davisville Avenue. I'm just going to fire up my step counter for this one. Let me get that loaded. All right, we are live, and it's indicating 0 steps right now. I'm also going to record this walk on Strava. And let's take a few steps and make sure this thing's working. There we go. And for this one, I'm just going to go for a walk. That takes about 10,000 steps or so, providing the counter I'm using is relatively accurate. I did just download this app. And unfortunately, the band on my Fitbit just broke. So I will not be using the Fitbit for this. And there's a look north up Yonge Street. I do have a backup as well. I did start the count on this iPhone just before I hit record. So it might be interesting to compare the results between the step counter on my S20 and the one on my iPhone. And I don't even know if Strava gives a step count. But it will indicate the distance covered and the route. So I think I'll just head south here to St. Clair. So that's one subway stop, and then I'll head west on St. Clair. And I'll just kind of make it up as I go. I'll probably end up downtown. And it's a rather windy day. There was a wind advisory in effect. And it's supposed to rain at some point, so that might be fun. I do have my umbrella on me just in case. So I'm heading south down the east side of Yonge Street. And recently another Toronto channel, the Ken Continuum, did a similar idea. He did a 6K step walk. So I guess you could say I'm taking inspiration from that on this. And earlier today, I hit 65,000 subscribers. So I think I'm a few over that now, so thank you to everyone who has subscribed and helped make that possible. I'm not sure if that counts as a milestone or not, but it seems like a good reason to do a more unconventional style walk, at least in terms of the concept. And I have no idea how long this will take. I imagine maybe somewhere around an hour and 20 or an hour and a half, depending on if I dilly-dally or not. And there's a look into Davisville subway station. And that's the Beltline Trail I'll be heading underneath. And I pulled up an old video last night, and there was a comment at the top from Action Kid, a New York City-based walktuber, congratulating me on 1,000 subscribers. So it's been quite a journey since then. Let me just make sure this thing is working. 535 steps right now as the southbound train rolls by. There's that wind kicking up. And let me check out my other channel. My second channel, Johnny Stumbles, is at 4,994 subscribers. So it is 6 away from 5,000. So it's possible by the end of this one, I'll be at 5K there. That's a pretty neat milestone for that channel. There goes the northbound train. And just on the other side of Yonge Street here is Mount Pleasant Cemetery. This is certainly familiar territory if you're a regular viewer of the channel. So I'll see if I can keep this one all on just the one camera here. Rather than bring a battery pack, I have my second camera with me, which is a bit wonky lately, but the last time I tested it, it works. So if I do run out of battery before I hit 10K, I'll just swap cameras. That won't be much of an issue. The bigger issue is I've got something to attend to tonight. And I don't have any videos for tomorrow, and this one's going to be a rather long one, so hopefully I can get it edited and uploaded in time. I've also been working on preparing my merch store. I've got a custom domain name for it and a storefront. And the shelves are full of items, so I should have an announcement for that coming up in the next few days. If I don't get this video up in time, I might just make an announcement video for that tomorrow, as I'll be streaming tomorrow evening. So I'll still have some new content up. Let me check the step count on the iPhone. It says 592 steps. It might make sense just to stay on Yonge Street, but I've covered that route somewhat recently south of St. Clair. I did that during the first snowfall of the season. So we'll walk across St. Clair. Maybe I'll head south down Spadina or Bathurst, or possibly Christie. You'd think for someone who walks a lot, I'd have a better idea as to where 10,000 steps would take me, but I really don't have any idea. I'm thinking I could get downtown. And I'm also thinking I overdressed for this. I might make a pit stop and put one of my sweaters in my backpack. That's always kind of awkward when you end up walking at the same pace right next to someone and you're trying to narrate your video. You'll notice I'll often speed up or occasionally slow down or stop and take a look around, but I generally won't keep pace with someone else. And there is the Lawton Parkette. It certainly feels like it's going to rain pretty soon. So I've got my Adidas Terex and just a regular hoodie on underneath that and a long sleeve t-shirt underneath that. And I'm wearing some windproof pants I got from Uniqlo, which also might be a tad on the warm side for today. And my trusty Under Armours. They've been my walking shoe of choice lately. I think the winds were definitely stronger this morning. And there was a period last Saturday where they were quite violent. So according to Strava, I've walked 1.15 kilometers at an average speed of 5.6 kilometers per hour. And the step app I just downloaded and don't know the name of says I'm at 1450. And the iPhone is well below that, actually. Okay, we've got a discrepancy. That's at 1165. Which one to believe? I'm sure if I had my Fitbit on, I'd have an entirely different result as well. It just goes to show you can't really trust these apps.
Getting safer now.
Maybe I'll pick whichever one is more convenient. If one gets to 10,000 a little sooner, and I still have a ways to go to a subway station, I'll just go by the other one. And here is Yonge and St. Clair. St. Clair Station is just over to the east. There's a new bar, Shenanigans, that takes place at Scallywags. That was a favorite bar in the area that closed down over the pandemic. And that wind is definitely blowing pretty strong right now.
This way, they just did a phone.
So on a typical day, over the past few weeks, I've been averaging about 26,000 steps. Although yesterday I barely scratched 10,000. I usually have one day a week where I don't do a whole lot. I didn't record any videos, I just did a live stream from the comfort of my own home. But walking is one of those things I can just kind of do forever. That was one of the draws to doing this kind of channel. When I lived in Korea, whenever I had a vacation, I'd often try to get to a nearby city. Or sometimes not so nearby. And my favorite activity was exploring it by foot. I always like seeing the various subway systems and transit networks and stuff. But you can't beat good old walking. I remember walking across Seoul once from where I live, right near Gangnam Station. I left in the middle of the afternoon and I had plans to meet friends at night at an area called Hongdae, which is quite a ways away on the Green Line. And I decided to go for a walk along the Han River instead of do nothing all day and meet them later via taking the subway. I left really early, before a lot of them were even up actually, because we were drinking the night before. I remember it took just hours and hours to complete that walk. But afterwards I felt absolutely fantastic. And along the way I didn't exactly stop to sniff any roses or get a drink or a snack or anything. I just did it all in one shot. And here's the pianist Glenn Gould's old apartment. He lived in this space. The Park Lane Apartments at 110 St. Clair Avenue West. From 1932 to 1982, so he spent his whole life there. There's a neat statue across the street over there. I know I'm costing myself precious steps. And yeah, I think I need to shed a sweater here. It's windy and it's threatening rain, but what it is not is cold.
Like.
And this is Avenue. And St. Clair coming up. And do I walk south here or do I keep going west over to Bathurst? Huh. Well, here's what I'm really gonna do is I'm gonna put my camera down here and take off one of my sweaters. There's the Korean consulate while I mull over this decision as to which way to go. Hopefully the wind doesn't blow her over. Take off my microphone. One of them anyways. The heavy sweater comes off. I knew that was gonna get blown over. Maybe if I rest it against my backpack there, it'll stand a chance. Okay, we have gotten rid of the light sweater. We'll see if I remember to edit this part out or not. I usually like just leaving my videos as one long take. I do have an umbrella in here too, and this is a tiny backpack, so this is going to be a tight squeeze. All zipped up. And reattach one of the two external mics I'm using. I always record 2 audio tracks, 3 if you include the camera, just because better safe than sorry. And here we go. I'm now dressed smartly for the weather. Light sweater be damned. So if I were to take Avenue, that's where I would turn south. "24,000 steps. What does the iPhone say I've taken? So we have a discrepancy of about 3,000 steps. Maybe what I'll do as an experiment is I'll take about 50 steps and count them off in my head and see how each app counts them. That'll give me an idea as to which one's more accurate. Hey, there's a guy on the same kind of scooter I have. He's on a Tech Trendy. Isn't that neat? Do I want to go south on Avenue, or do I want to keep going west here on St. Clair? Let's go south. This will be more fun. Plus, I recently did a walk with RM Transit, who has an excellent transit-based YouTube channel, and we started right at that median there. And from there, we went west along St. Clair, swinging through St. Clair Station, and then we went south down Bathurst Street. And that's likely to be the route I would take if I kept going west there. Plus, this way gets me into downtown quicker. Okay, I'm at 2,600 steps. I'm going to count off 50 steps and stop, and then we'll see how this compares. I'm going to put this in my pocket. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Either it overcounted by 3 or I undercounted by 3 or some combination of the two. So that would give that app a 6% accuracy. Or I guess, I don't know how to phrase that, but if it's off by 3 out of 50, that means it's overcounting by 6 for every 100 steps, roughly. There might be situations where it goes the other way. All right, let's get the iPhone up here to a nice even step count, and then I'll do the test there. Okay, so we're at, I think this one just kind of counts the steps a little later, which makes it kind of annoying to do this type of test. It also didn't count my last 2 steps. 1, 2. There's 4 steps it is not counted. Come on, man. I'm trying to record a video here. I just relaunched the app and it says 2408. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's see where it... Okay, it just did exactly 10 there. And then it tacked on 1 more for good measure. Okay, I wanted to start at an even number, but we're going to start at 19. So I'm going to count 50, and that should take us up to 69, right? Gotta love that number. So I'm going to put this back in my pocket. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So this should be at 69. Oh, I'm in the settings part of the app. But I wonder about this app because I took 5 steps before that clearly it didn't count. So these things are not an exact science. If you're using a step counter, I guess the moral of the story is take a few more steps if you have a target. That way you know you actually got there or not. I just thought it would be kind of cool to end this one right at the big 10,000. I'll have to take a look at Strava and see if that is counting steps in some way. And we're now going south down the west side of Avenue Road. I think that's De La Salle College just up on the left. That's a rather prestigious school. And straight to the north of here Way off in the distance, there's a clock tower. I don't think the camera will pick that up. That's UCC, Upper Canada College. And the neighborhood just in on the right, I think it's called Rathnelly, or at least just to the south of here. That's a rather affluent neighborhood. You'll also find Casaloma just to the southwest of here. I recently did a live stream that went through there, and I headed down the Baldwin Steps. There's some gorgeous old apartments. I wonder if these are walk-ups. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stories. They're kind of in an Art Deco style. There's De La Salle. And I can tell you firsthand, it sucks to be the residents in this building. I still see blinds and curtains and that sort of thing, so it doesn't look like a rent eviction. But all those construction sounds you hear emanating from the scaffolding are like times 10 inside your unit. I hope they were wise enough to apply for a rent abatement. There's a lot of predatory landlords that do unnecessary renovations to apartment buildings in Toronto, and they try to get to a certain threshold so they can apply for a maximum rent increase, especially to the older buildings. And the most they're able to get away with is 9% over 3 years, but that's on top of the existing rent allowance or allowance for increases, which is around 1.5%. So that's going to be about 4.5%, so that'll compound. So these predatory landlords do the math, and they come in and they do a whole bunch of renovations that aren't necessarily necessary. And they make life a living hell for their existing clients or tenants and hope they move away so they can charge a higher rent to for the newly renovated units, or they get the rent increase on the existing tenants. So it's kind of win-win. And it's really disgusting that this practice continues and it's so rampant and widespread. And there's a number of these rental agencies that do that. They're not all bad. The one that used to own my building was pretty good. And then it got bought by one of those conglomerates. And they're trying to put the screws on all the residents right now. There, we have a bachelor and a 1-bedroom. All right, there's a neighborhood sign. On the street sign here, Republic of Rathnelly. There we go. Republic. And there are some gorgeous homes down this street. Wow, look at that. Will that loop me around to the next street? Let's see here. If I went that way, that'll allow me to come up. Yeah, let's do a quick tour this residential area. I got plenty of steps to burn. This is Cottingham Street. I don't think I've ever covered this on the channel before. These homes are mostly semis, it looks like. But that doesn't mean they're not worth a pretty penny. And some of them have their Christmas lights on. Oh, here's a single. Maybe we'll see a for sale sign. Republic of Rathnelly. We stood up for responsible development between McPherson and McMaster on Avenue Road in 1962. And we'll do it again. Well, there's a fine line there, because there's a prevailing school of thought that developments like this are very unsustainable, as beautiful as they are. Given the proximity to downtown, low density housing is not a good thing for our housing supply. We definitely need more medium density housing. But these are the kind of neighborhoods that will probably fight tooth and nail if they want to dig a subway underneath anywhere around here. They'll pretty much oppose anything that's progressive for the sake of maintaining their existing oasis. It's almost as if when people move to a neighborhood, they expect time to just stand still and all progress to cease, completely forgetting that once upon a time this was farmland. And before that, it was just lived on by the natives, and it was wilded, and before that, it was completely in the hands of nature. But nope, here in 2021, development should stand still. As you can tell, I'm not a fan of NIMBYs. Here is Hardy's Corner, and I think that leads into an old pumping station. They used to pump the water for the city of Toronto up here because it's kind of up on an escarpment. That might be an old school. Then they'd use gravity to feed the city with water. Let's see. High level pumping station park. All right, let's go that way. Can I make it through the park? You've got 10,000 steps. Why not? I think just on the other side is Poplar Plains. Oh, I think this is actually a school. I think that might be the pumping station just over there. Well, there's a lot of City of Toronto vehicles right in between the two properties. There's a Republic of Rathnelly sign. So it looks like it was done by kids. The indoctrination is strong in this area. That building was built in 1910. It's definitely a municipal works building. And there's a plaque just in front of it here. So this was where the original pump house was built. And it's quite logical, as this is a bit of an escarpment. Although we've already walked down most of it. I was heading south on Avenue Road. I guess when you're pumping water or building an aqueduct, gravity is your best friend. So this is Poplar Plains Road, and up ahead are the CP rail tracks. So we'll be heading underneath those. And I think this is McPherson Street, just to the south of here. Let's see where the unofficial step count has me. First, Strava has us at 5.2 kilometers per hour, 3.67 in total. That's not a very impressive stat so far. I think I have auto pause enabled, so it hopefully subtract the time for that sweater removal journey. Summerhill, Nursery, and Floral. This can be a confusing intersection, especially when you're on a bike. And the step counting app. Ooh, I have an achievement. It wants me to rate it. How can I rate you? All right, I'll give you 3 steps, 3 stars. 45.90, so we're right around 4,600. Or 42, 45, depending on who you want to believe. I think both apps are just taking that stat from the pedometer built into either phone, one being the iPhone 12, the other being an S20FE. And here we are at the crossroads of Dupont and Davenport, 2 streets that for the most part run parallel to each other. So for some reason, I will head west here for a few blocks at least. He must have freaked that car out behind him. I understand what he was doing. He just did that a little too fast. I don't blame the car for honking. I'm trying to think of a route. Where do I want to go? go southbound St. George. I don't know. And this is Huron Street. Now let's keep moving. So depending on who you ask, I'm either just north of downtown, or this is the north end of downtown. I've heard people describe Dupont as the north end. I've heard some people refer to this as midtown. That's a bit strange. And the neighborhood to the south of here, including where I am now, would be considered to be the Annex. And here's Dupont Station. Do I go south on Spadina? I think Bathurst is actually the more interesting route. Maybe we'll walk over there. And there is Casa Loma looming in the distance. I'll let this car turn, since he caught me gazing off at Casa Loma. There's a CN Tower sighting to the south. I doubt I'll make it that far. I don't understand people who walk on the left. It makes no sense. And that guy looked at me like I'm in his way. It's like, well, what are you doing? Roti cuisine of India. So you can tell this is a former industrialized area. There's a lot of factories here, or rather there were, and warehouses, and the big reason for that is the rail line. Literally just to the north of here, and it runs along it. You'll often find whenever there's a rail line, there was this kind of development. Caution, watch for trucks. How about you put that on the other side, not over here where it's too late? I wonder if someone thought they'd help themselves to a Christmas tree. Let's get an unofficial step count. We are north of halfway. This is that point when I'm on a 13-hour long-haul flight. Just watching my favorite programming, the little map with the airplane on it that barely seems to move. And you realize you passed the halfway mark. Then you realize there's still 6.5 hours to go. And I actually kind of long for that experience again. It's been so long. I used to do that several times a year. Looks like there's plans for an 11-story building on this lot, and that is Creed's Coffee Bar. There's the place called Industrial Storm. I think that used to be a fitness center. I think they did spin classes and that sort of thing in there. And we are coming up upon Howland. And maybe I'll cross the street here. There's a whole bunch of construction. I'll press the button to hopefully trigger a countdown. I don't understand what the hell this driver is doing. You're turning left, okay, I get it. Sometimes when you turn left, you don't have good visibility, but you're on a red light. Could you not just wait for the light to change and then reassess? You're not going anywhere until then. So what the hell are you doing blocking a crossing? You get 0 out of 10, sir. Well, I'll give him 1 mark for using his turn signal. And there's a neat mural on the other side. Now you can make your precious left turn. This is kind of a Miami vibe to it. Got these big outdoor spaces, which I quite like. It looks like there's going to be retail on the ground floor. This type of development looks entirely appropriate for this neighborhood. And then you see residents starting from 1.6 million, and you realize this is not for ordinary people. They're not allowed to live and own homes in this city anymore. I can't imagine what would happen if I walked into a bank and asked for approval on a mortgage for one of these. They'd be like, and what is your job again? So you're selling t-shirts now? I think their eyes would roll into the back of their heads pretty quickly. There's Albany Avenue, which I have walked up just north of Bloor Street before. So I'm going to go south on Bathurst here. And we'll take this down to Bloor Street. And then I could keep going south on Bathurst, or I could cut through the Annex. It's not really going to matter. Vesta Lunch, burgers, meals, souvlaki, fish and chips. I remember going there once. rather hungover and seeing them basically throw a stick of butter onto the grill. And they were only cooking breakfast for my friend and I. And now it's south on Bathurst. And I think this walk kind of typifies what's so awesome about Toronto. And one of the reasons why I love it so much is I can do a 10K step walk and barely scratch the surface in terms of what's interesting and what neighborhoods are neat. I think in a lot of cities you'd be out of places to explore by now. All right, iPhone 57, 58, 06. So that means the Galaxy must say I'm at around 62. So I don't know what to believe. There's the gallery across the street. I'll try not to stand any one street for too long. And I'm probably going to come back and do a Bathurst street walk pretty soon. It's been a while since I've covered it. Maybe I'll do one end to end from the lake up to Bathurst Station. It sounds like a good one for a day where I don't have any particularly good ideas. There's the Summer Hill Market. We're quite a ways from Summer Hill. Perhaps it was a relocation or named after something else. And this is definitely more of a brisk pace than I do when I do my live streams. I know walking for an hour and a half on those is quite regular. Some of the streamers like Action Kid can do 3, 4, 5 hours even with no issues. There's the number 7 bus blocking my view of Frosty the Snowman. There he is. So I think you could go east there over to Albany and then down to Bloor. Oh, I forgot to get a status update on the subscriber count on my other channel. It was at 4, I forget, but now it's at 4994, so 6 away. I think that might be the same as what it was. So it seems unlikely that we'll hit 5K in this one. That channel could get 5 in a day, or it could get 30 in a day. Bateman's Bicycle Company, and he had a bike share, and there is Oh, they have another location right across the street. Maybe that's more of a service shop. There's a Domino's. I got Domino's in my fridge. And straight ahead on the right, poking above the intersection of Bloor and Bathurst is Mervish Village, and the new rental tower is going up. That's right where Honest Ed's used to be. There is the music gallery. That old building is called Vermont Square. So when I get to Bloor and Bathurst, I could turn right and head into Koreatown, or turn left and head through the Annex. But I think I'll veer into the Annex and just keep this one in downtown from that point. And there is Barton Avenue. I had to make sure that van wasn't gonna turn right there. It looked like it might have. Good, you've walked 3 miles in total. So I should be honing in on 7K steps. So tomorrow I'm gonna have to get out and make a video. That's if I want any content for Saturday morning. And then tomorrow night I'll do a live stream with Ken. Maybe I'll make a second video after that live stream. We'll make it a busy walking day. There goes the number 7 bus. And that's the end of the line for that bus. We'll be pulling into the loop here. And then heading north at Bathurst. As south of here, the 511 streetcar takes over. That'll be going south down to Queens Quay, or actually Lakeshore, and then it'll pop west over to the exhibition loop. And here is Bathurst Station. And I am feeling even hotter now. I could actually ditch this other sweater. See these people with the winter coats on, but I guess they're not going on treks across the city.
On the other side.
And here we are at Bloor and Bathurst. There's the Pizza from Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. And just off to the west there is Koreatown. and look north up Bathurst, where I just came down. And now for the 1 billionth time, Bloor Street through the Annex. Well, at least he wasn't yelling at me. Oh. Hello?
Looks like you're stuck now.
Oh.
Oh, yeah, I know your videos.
Thank you.
I'm going to contact you. My name's Clair, because I got a bike and I ride 4,000 kilometers since I got it the second week of July.
Oh, awesome.
If you want to double up, because I used to be sitting charge.
Awesome.
And I
Well,
bought one of those.
well, shoot me a mail.
I will, yeah. All right,
Cool. Well,
see you. Come on. Great job.
oh, nice to meet you. Cheers. Friendly guy. He said I looked like my thumbnail. I guess that's true. I put my picture in my thumbnail sometimes. There's Lee's Palace. Whenever people ask me what my favorite neighborhood in the city is, I'll often say this place. It's one of the top 3 at least. I'll hold off on checking the step count until I get to Spadina. I was kind of hoping I'd get to record a rain video today. And this monkey sushi offers all you can eat. I don't think I've seen that before. There's Scotty Bond's Caribbean Grill. I popped in there after a live stream. That was the one where I passed by Casa Loma. There's B&B Books. Oh, My Chicken did not make it. That place is pretty good. It is a chain. They do have other locations. Oh, look at this guy go, winter coat and everything. Impressive stuff. The runner's shop. It's probably a good place for someone like me to get their footwear. I don't run, but I do walk extensively. What do you got for me, runner's shop? The guy points across the street to a sign that says the Walker's Shop. And coming up is Spadina. All right, I will take this red light as an opportunity to check the old step count. I'm gonna guess maybe I'm around 8K. There we go. And how about the iPhone? These seem to be consistently about 400 apart. And it looks like I might be able to do this all on one battery on this phone. Or rather, camera. In the area mostly to the south of here is the University of Toronto St. George campus. They're gonna turn this church into condos. Bit curious to see how that turns out. There's the Senator David A. Kroll Apartments, formerly home to a large-scale experiment by the University of Toronto. I think they called it Rochdale back in the day. And there's Gayubi Japanese Grill. For my money, that's the best barbecue in the city right there. Yeah, it's a chain. They have a few locations. But their cuts of meat are excellent, and it's always hard to get a table in there if you're going on a Friday, Saturday, or Sunday evening. I think even during regular weekdays it can be quite tricky. And just up ahead is the spot where I ended, I think, the last walking live stream I did, and that would have been on Monday. I went down Yonge from St. Clair, and I made my way through the Yorkville neighborhood to check out the holiday lights, or what they call the holiday magic lights. And I ended it right there at Varsity Stadium. So I won't stay on Bloor Street too much longer. I think I'll turn south at Queen's Park. And that will
So where is this place from?
definitely get me over the 10K step count soon after it turns south onto Queen's Park. Oh, I don't know if they had the bubble up over the plane service. That is new this week. On Monday, you had a clean view of the skyline. Let's see what Strava has to say. We're zeroing in on 7 kilometers walked. There's some interesting music. It would be really annoying if I picked up a content ID match from that. And here's Bedford Road. One of the entrances to St. George Subway is just to the north here. There's the Royal Conservatory of Music, right next to the Royal Ontario Museum. And we are approaching the Yorkville neighborhood. It might make sense for me just to keep going through Yorkville. I'd probably get to Yonge Bloor right around 10K steps, but we've been on Bloor for quite a while. I'm gonna guess that I'll be at 9,000 when I get to the intersection just up ahead here. Well, that Circle K is relatively new. There's the McDonald's that replaced the McDonald's that used to be here. And I think this McDonald's in particular has a great lease in this building because I think they signed a 100-year lease at their previous location or something crazy like that. And when the property got redeveloped, they got to carry on that deal into the new location. Something like that. I might be completely wrong. That's what a little birdie once told me. And there is Bloor Street and the Mink Mile straight ahead. And it will be certainly busy and interesting to go for a walk along there, but I have done that a whole bunch recently. We'll take a rare pause here. Let's see what the old step count has to say. Whoa, this one is well short. So I think by the time I get to Queen's Park Station straight ahead, I'll be over 10 on both counts. I was kind of hoping that right here at Museum Station I'd have hit the big 10K. Or another option would be just to pop over to Yonge Street, over to Wellesley Station. There's the Hillary and Galen Weston wing. And Yonge Street over there is developing quite the high-rise corridor. There's going to be several more monsters popping up along Yonge. And here's an entrance to Museum Station. And the old McLaughlin Planetarium, which was about to be redeveloped. I think the university has plans for a new planetarium. And there's still one up at the Science Center. And Victoria College is just over on the other side of Queen's Park here. It's called Queen's Park, but not too far to the south, it becomes University Avenue. And to the north at Bloor Street is Avenue Road. You might recall earlier in this walk, I was heading south on Avenue. There's the Faculty of Law and Faculty of Music. And here's Queen's Park straight ahead, home of the Provincial Legislative Assembly. Let's make this light.
Yeah, I did. I got a really cute mitten.
And it was bound to happen. I just got smacked in the forehead by a raindrop. So Queen's Park here is a crescent. The south side curls around on the right over there. Or the southbound side. And the northbound side is over there on the east. I'm wondering if I should try to squeeze in a walk right after this. As I mentioned, I'm low on content. I'll figure something out. There's a lot of monuments and statues in this park. And some, I think, Tai Chi or Falun Gong. Or Falun Dafa is the variation they practice here. Doing that in some parts of the world can have you disappeared, believe it or not. So I think as much as it is an act of exercise and mental well-being, it is also a protest at the same time. And you've got a decision to make. Am I going to walk along Wellesley over to Wellesley Station, or am I going to go south? Let's see what the step count has to say. Well, this one says we're at 9,990 something. Here we're at 95.96. So I guess I chose to walk along Wellesley. I think the iPhone, if I can recall, started off at about 8 steps. I turned it on and fired up the step counter. So we'll get to about 10,008. I don't believe in taking the easy way out. It'd be kind of lame if I just used the Samsung phone's counter. And when I get to 10,000 steps, maybe I'll just end the video there and then. And I'll end my walk on Strava, and I'll see if that gives me a step tally or if there's any way to see that there. So all eyes on you, Mr. iPhone 12. 97.70, pretty much. And it's 3:05 in the afternoon. There's some Government of Ontario buildings undergoing some work. And coming up is Bay Street. So I don't think I'm going to make it to Yonge Street. And we are on our final 100 steps. And it's a little over an hour and a half. So I think my guesstimate on the time was about right. There's a look south down Bay Street. I don't know how well this thing is focusing, but ta-da! We did it! Let me just see what Strava has to say. So I started at Yonge and Davisville. And I made my way down to St. Clair, then over to Avenue, and then through Rathnelly and into the Annex, and then over here to Wellesley in between Bay and Yonge Street. Mission accomplished. I'm relatively close to Wellesley Station. 10K is a healthy day. Is it? I don't know. I might turn this one into an unhealthy day. There's our Strava steps, 8.45 km. Let me finish that and save it. Processing activity. I don't think this is giving me a step count. Oh well, I'll give it a thumb up. And there we go. I'd like to thank you for watching. If the merch store is not up yet, keep an eye out for it. It will be appearing as a link in the description. And it will have its own dedicated .com URL. And there are links to my Patreon and YouTube channel membership if you wish to support the channel. Well, thanks for coming along with me for the journey, or at least part of it if you joined in, or skipped ahead, or fast forwarded, or however you did it. Either way, thank you for watching. And as always, I will catch you on the next one.